spring when they showed their presentation. Get over there and try to get right.
You gotta go call him.
Yeah, I'll try to. Doesn't transfer very well. I'll project them on the back screen and then this camera's.
You will call the meeting to order. Nina, please take the roll.
Councilman Bundy?
Present.
Councilman Green?
Present.
Councilman Span?
Present.
Councilman Bryant?
Present.
Mayor Snyder?
Present, let the record reflect that we have a quorum. Welcome everyone to February 11th, 2019, Chamber of Commerce, City Council meeting, somewhere else here. What we'll do is we're gonna run down to item number 2 of the agenda. Sheriff Hollingshead, please come on up. Tongue twister here.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council. Before I get started, I'd like to go officially on record. I'm sponsoring a reserve academy at the Sheriff's Office for the state of Idaho right now. And Saturday, we ran into a little problem. We had a training class and we had no place to give it because post closed the doors on us. I called the chief. He jumped through hoops, opened his training room, got his bags out so we could use them. Training class went very successful and won. So I publicly really want to say thank you, Chief. Appreciate it very much for all your support and help there. Now, Chief, there's one thing that I have in my power that I can do, and I'd like to do that tonight. So with that being said, I'd like just to go a step right over here, closer to the flag. It's right here.
You want to bring it down?
If you don't mind. If you want to hold it, you can hold it. Chief, this is one honor as sheriff that I am given, and I'm proud to do this tonight. It means a lot to me. So with that being said, would you stand and raise your right hand? Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear
That I will support and defend.
that I will support and defend
The Constitution and laws
the Constitution and law
of the state of Idaho.
of the state of Idaho.
That I will faithfully discharge
That I will faithfully discharge
all the duties of special deputy
all the duties of special deputy
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
With
Appreciate it.
that being said, I'd like just to read this too. Now that special convenience and trust in integrity and Scott Connor, I'm Matt Collins, Sheriff of Elmore County, State of Idaho, in pursuance of and by the authority vested in me by law, have appointed you and duly hereby confirmed that said Scott Connor to Special Deputy until revoked in and for the County of Elmore, State of Idaho, with the compassion from the said Elmore County and all of his and hers official acts legally performed while acting as such Special Deputy as entitled as true faith and integrity. With that, I'd like to present you Special Deputy badge. Thank you, Chief.
Congratulations, Chief, but Sheriff Hollingshead, does that mean you're gonna pay a salary too?
That's true, but I also bill you for everything that you do.
Big Sheriff. Alrighty, we're gonna run down to item number 3 of the agenda, public hearing, water waste rate increases. Would anybody like to get up and speak on the water rate increases? Alrighty, hearing none, we'll run down to, I guess we gotta close it, huh? No, sorry, wastewater. Sorry, anybody else? Like I said, you'd like to get up and speak on the wastewater? If not, we're gonna close it up. Alrighty, hearing none, we're gonna run down to item number 3 of the the agenda, or the number 4, recognizing persons in the audience. Please limit the comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Would anybody like to get up and just speak in general? I would like to, oh, come on down, Chris.
State my name, Chris Alzola. My concern is, I'm just looking at, you guys have a lot of projects going on, and I'm just worried. My concern is for the next year's budget. You've got the hub, you've got the downtown plan, you've got the training, and just the maintenance and operation of all these new programs that you're gonna put in place. And I haven't come, and I've been just watching the videos, but I never hear anybody say, what's that gonna do to our maintenance? What's that gonna do to our operations budget? Those are just concerns that I have. When we've got roads like War Eagle and stuff, that those roads are just terrible. Want to make sure that those kind of things are taken care of, and that you're, you know, protecting the roads and taking care of those when we've got all these projects that we don't know how they're being funded and what the operations are of them. So that's just my concern. Always is. I'm a bookkeeper.
All right, really quick. Anybody else like to get up and speak? We have troop number 175, Anders. You're just here to watch the proceedings and see how government works?
Yeah.
Well, welcome. Thank you for making it. And for making it here, I'd like to give you my coin. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good one.
So these 4, they run the show, not me.
We don't have
So-
coins.
They run the show, but I'm way cooler. So no, obviously, just a little bit. These guys, they are the ones that will be voting on everything tonight, and I just do the meeting proceedings, things of that nature. So now, if there's a tie, I get the luxury of maybe breaking the tie. So, and that's kind of my role here tonight. But we'll move forward. Anybody else? Last call. Anybody like to get up and speak? All righty, hearing none, we're going to go to item number 5, the consent agenda. Councilman, do you have any questions on anything of the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Bryant.
just a point of information. I see Mike's not here, so I might have to go to him and ask this in his office. I was just curious on we're changing the height allowance on for someone to build. How do we actually do that? Is that something we look at on a case by case? Are we limited based on fire truck, what we have that can access, fire truck can access, or if someone came and said, hey, I want to put a 5 or 6 story building in?
Rich, you want to take that one?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, they still, when they bring their building plan, we have to make sure everything fits in what they're gonna do, but it's easier with some things that fit with what's downtown we can do, to kind of make it easier.
So we don't limit them. If somebody came and said, hey, I want to put a 6 story building in the middle of your downtown.
We could certainly look at impact and what the impact the city would have.
But that's our limiting thing is the impact and whether or not we can access it with our fire prevent.
Chief, or is it more of public safety? If there was something the ladder truck couldn't get to, is that another deciding factor?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to have access setbacks, and there's a lot of things that play into roles with that, and they're all known into the building industry, and it's certainly factored into everything that comes in.
And our ladder truck covers us up to like 3 or 4 stories or 5 stories.
Well, in condition to anything you're looking at this evening, it's easily done.
Yeah, where's the 45 feet?
Thanks.
Councilman Brennan.
I just wanted to kind of answer a question on the record that I had from a couple of citizens, and talked to Ryan about this earlier, but as far as the fiber project goes, can you specify who will be responsible for making like the monthly payment for that, and who won't have to at their choice?
Mayor Council, the fiber will be an opt-in only. So as we move forward, going forward in doing the fiber project, there will be fiber hoods created, and based on the survey that we took of who
we'll have fiber champions in different neighborhoods. They'll go out, try and get answers with people who want to do it and who don't want to do it. And the neighborhood who has the most people that want to do it, that's the neighborhood we'll do first in the city. The fiber will go right by everybody's house in that neighborhood. But if you've opted out to not take the fiber, it won't be hooked up to your house, and therefore you will not have to pay for it. It's the only the people.
If they want to get on.
Yes, there will be a second wave if they just change their mind and they want to get on later. It might cost them more to get on if they don't take it up front the first time that they're asked, but they're the ones that are the ones that opt in at the time are the ones that are going to get charged to take the fiber at that time.
And those that opt out, there won't be any direct cost for them, just the typical taxes that are paid in the
Right.
city for all the services.
Right.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor? Councilman Bundy?
Yeah, on this one, I've had a tremendous amount of, a lot of people come and talking about how excited they are for the fiber. I think it's a good clarification, but I think we've got tremendous amount of support out there for this. Lots of people want to figure out how they can get their neighborhood first. So I think these are good things that we get out. And it's going to be, it'll be a really good enhancer for people's resale in the market.
Thank you. The neat thing, just really quick on that, is the resale value of your home. Let's say I had, say Councilman Shapani and I had the exact same home. The fiber, I hook up to my house, we opted not to take it. We tried to sell our home at the exact same time. The preliminary numbers that we're seeing right now is my home will sell for $5,000 more than his home would if he didn't take the fiber. These are just kind of the things that once we get our campaign to you guys, we'll let you know all the great things, all the weird things. Any questions you guys are going to have, we'll be able to answer it with our campaign that we're going to do here probably in about 5 to 6 months. So it's going to take a little while. We're going through some other processes, just trying to finalize some things, but we're super excited. We've been meeting with the City of Ammon's people, Entry Point people. It's something that's, we're going to make Mountain Home the next century city, the next smart city. And to me, I think that will only enhance our quality of life. If you guys want 100, you can have 100 gigs or 100 megs. If you want a gig, you can have a gig. If you want Wi-Fi at your park, you can have Wi-Fi at your park. If you want cameras to make your neighborhood safe, we'll have cameras, especially in the park. So eventually, these are things that will be coming down the pike down the road, but we're super excited for the project. But I digress. So it's one of my favorite projects that we're working on. There's a ton of other projects that we're doing in Mountain Home. And Chris, I hear you. And maybe we need to do a better job of telling you where the dollars are coming from. So I'm going to get with Mike this next week, and then maybe we'll do a video of something, or at least kind of to let you guys know where the funds are coming for each project. So, all righty. Councilman Shapani?
I have a question for Courtney on F&G. Are you guys' classes at the same time? Because I know like hers was a specific date in July, and then yours was kind of like a broad range.
Councilman, mine is an online course, so I'll be taking that in the evenings or on the weekends when I have time. And Taylor's is a week-long course, so she'll be gone for the week.
Okay. I just want to make sure that if you both are gone, that we have something to figure out for your office.
No, so there should be coverage.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
motion we pass the consent agenda.
Second.
The motion is second. I'll call for the question. Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Shapani?
Aye.
Councilman Bryant?
Aye.
All right, we're on down to item number, we're going to skip item number 6. There's no business to go over. Run down to item number 7. And it's a discussion decision on leasing ground at the airport with Ted. And Ted, I guess, has a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Councilman. While I'm turning the computer and the projector on, I would like to acknowledge a couple people in the audience. One, my wife was very supportive of my field of dreams, and also the airport board members. We've got Warren Bauer and Skip Sogian. And our newest member on the airport team here is Bob Viramontes, who's our new mechanic. And I'm very energized, and we're very excited about the possibilities here. So, in just a moment. would like to take a few minutes to, kind of lay out a vision. I'm here asking to put in a 12,000 gallon jet fuel tank. But I would like to take this opportunity to explain to you why that is so important to the Mountain Airport. So, I call this, Mountain Airport 2030. So it's a look ahead in about 10 years. Over the past, I guess that's about 45 years, there's been about $8 million invested. Most of that, or half of it, in the last 5 years, 5 to 6 years. We rebuilt the runway. It was about a $2.9 million project. This week, I had to pay $168,000. 2017, we rebuilt the parking ramp at about $1 million, 1.3 in the city share again, 67,000. For the Federal Aviation Administration and Idaho Department of Transportation understand the importance of the Mountain Home Airport because they have funded it in accordance with that importance. Bureau of Land Management calls this a very critical day in supporting their firefighting operations, aerial firefighting operations. They've increased the utilization in 3 of the last 4 years. That's my history. I don't know how much was done in the previous years. 2018 was a record-breaking year for them. 340,000 gallons retardant was more than twice what they had ever dispensed from this space. We went through 45,000 gallons of jet fuel here, and that's more than the 3 previous years combined total jet fuel sales, not just firefighting, but total jet fuel sales. Currently, we have a 5,700 gallon capacity, and it's all in dispensers, which means it's in trucks or in tanks with a self-serve dispenser on it. What that required was resupply every day during the firefighting season, sometimes twice a day, paying retail rates, and it wasn't always available. Couldn't always get somebody to come deliver it. And if we don't have gas, the seats are going somewhere else. And we're going to lose revenue, the hotels and restaurants, golf course. We're going to lose some revenue from that. And our need is not predictable. We went 4, 5, 6 days at a time occasionally with no operations at all, and followed by 2 days of 3,000 gallons a day, 3,500 gallons a day. We started the year with a 2,700 gallon capacity. So we got to get more storage. Let's talk about the seat-based economic impact. $2.3 million spent in 2018 just for aircraft retardant and water for fighting fires. The folks that were staying here were about $60,000 in per diem, $5,200 in overnight parking fees, for just parking those airplanes out on the ramp. And then, of course, there are incidental purchases in town that we don't really have any way to track. The rounds of golf, odds and ends that they need to pick up, getting their laundry done, those kinds of things. As far as income, federal and state fuel taxes are about 27 to 28 cents a gallon. Approximately 12,200 in fuel taxes for supporting these firefighting efforts. Those fuel taxes go right into the FAA's fund for airport infrastructure improvement. That's the source of the funds that we get for making improvements on the airport. And that doesn't include any taxes for spillage or for transfer fees, that kind of thing. As far as parking fees, this is not just firefighting, but we tripled previous average annual collections in the last year. And that's in addition to the seat parking fees. So federal and state taxes apply to all aviation fuel. It's the same 28 cents a gallon, 27, 28 cents a gallon, regardless of whether it's avgas for general aviation airplanes or jet fuel. And it, as I said earlier, supports all the airport infrastructure improvements and maintenance. Last year, at the Mountain Home Airport, we dispensed 77,000 gallons of fuel. That's nearly half of what they dispensed at Napa. Napa has more than three times the number. That's even wrong. 10 times the airplanes we have, and we're half fuel sales. With 29,000 gallons of avgas, that's double the previous year in my history. That's double the tax revenue. 48,000 gallons of jet fuel, 2.5 times the previous high year. Again, 2.5 times the tax revenue. So as we move forward, going to 2030, what do we need? We've got to have high-quality pavements and other infrastructure. We're working on that stuff. We've got a project next year to maintain the runway. It's typical after 5 to 7 years to come back and see what needs to be repaired on it. I can tell you there's not much because it was well done. It was a great project. In order to meet those requirements, we want to have a sustained full-time turbine-powered aircraft operations. To do that, we've got to have jet fuel. Our storage is inadequate. We can deliver it if we had it, but we don't have enough. Hangar space, it's non-existent for turbine-powered airplanes. It's in our 5-year plan. About 3 years out, and hopefully we'll have that under construction. 2 to 3 years out, that'll be under construction. We don't have any on-site maintenance. Again, that's part of that 5-year plan, operations facility. Again, part of the plan here in the next, it was 5 years when we put it in, but we're 2 years into that 5-year plan. So we're about a year away from designing what that's going to be. In order to sustain full-time general aviation, we have to have fuel supply, storage, and delivery are adequate. For that, we don't have adequate on-site maintenance. We have a small hangar that works for a small number of airplanes. What we don't have is adequate hangar space. We have none that the city owns. All hangars are privately owned. I'm getting calls 2 or 3 times a month. People want to rent a hangar. Not available. Boise's full. They're trying to push their people out. Napa's getting full. Caldwell's pretty far away from Boise. We're closer. So, and as we go to 2030, we want high quality pavements and infrastructure. We want to keep maintaining that. We need to enhance the BLM support, fleet support. That supports Elmore County and our surrounding counties, and it also adds to our economy for the 3 months that they're here. We need increased jet fuel storage because without jet fuel, none of the rest of that's going to work. We can't get there without jet fuel. That really is the engine that drives it. Turbine-powered aircraft maintenance and operations facilities build it, and they're going to come. I'm getting calls. I had somebody call me from Griggs. There's an airplane they want to bring over here. First question was, do we have a tug? The answer was no, but I fixed that. We don't have a hangar for them. If we had a hangar, they'd be here. Turbine-powered aircraft hangar space, again, high return on investment, and it funds improvements in general aviation. The reason I say high return on investment is this project that we're talking about here in the 3-year time frame is 90% funded by the FAA. We built it the right size. We put 2 turbine-powered airplanes in it. Current rents in Boise for a turbine-powered airplane per month are $1,200 to $1,500 a month. Nightly fees are up to $400 in places like Salt Lake City. I'm not saying we can get $400, but those will generate some income pretty quick. Given that the FAA is going to fund 90%, and hopefully the state will fund a good portion of the remainder. So,
Really quick, you said state or is that FAA will fund that?
FAA funds 90%.
And then you said the state will
The
fund the
state
rest.
will fund a portion of the rest. They want us to make an investment.
Sorry, cut you off there.
We need to maintain our avgas storage and dispensing capability. Again, without that avgas, they're not coming here. I was talking to the Plains Ferry mayor and the Elmore County Economic Development Coordinator earlier this week about what they could do to match the success of the Mountain Home Airport. And they gotta have fuel, they gotta have payments. We're missing both of those. The payments in not very good condition, and they don't have any fuel. I agreed to work with them on supplying fuel. I'm working on a way to supplying fuel. But we gotta have gas so people are not gonna come. We need general aviation hangars and ramp space. We've got a reasonably sized ramp. Could probably use more if we can get more airplanes. Again, there's sustained revenue out of hangars. If we can get some help in building those hangars in the FAA, then we can pay it off pretty quickly. The return rate, if we're building them ourselves, is not as good. But once that rate of return matches the cost, everything else is profit. So if it takes 15 years to get the return, the next 35 to 45 years of a low maintenance building is all money in the bank. We need an improved TA maintenance facility. And I'll go into more why we need that, but like I said, the one we have now is, it fits one airplane. And we have 2 airplanes we need to do work on. One of them's getting moved out into the weather. Pretty bad this time. An airport cafe is the lowest on the list of priorities there. Those generate income, and the model of IC is like the golf course with curlies on the green. The city owns the property and has somebody managing a restaurant out there. That attracts flyers to come in. There are people who fly out Sunday, Saturday mornings for breakfast or for lunch. Maybe they'll have a meeting here because they have a place to eat.
Are your cooking skills?
I can make them real good if we have to sell them. Might as well wear that hat too. So our business priorities are to increase jet fuel storage capacity. That's why I'm here tonight to talk to you about a 4,000 gallon jet fuel tank. That's the engine that drives everything that my business has been able to do over the last 4 years, increase in jet fuel capacity. When I first put in the tank, he sold me the tank, said, yeah, you really want 10,000 gallons. I couldn't afford it. He was right. So that's what I need. Turbine-powered aircraft hangar. Build it. They're going to come. As I said, they're already calling. This was my #1 priority when I took up the business. I can't get there yet because I'm investing in fuel. And I'm continuing to invest in fuel and maintenance. So we're getting there, and hopefully at some point I'll be able to build one myself. But there's going to be time before I can do that. And I need to grow the business so we can grow jobs. We need an increased maintenance capacity. I'm really thankful for Bob signing on. And what we are doing is starting a program to develop aircraft maintenance and support apprenticeships, particularly the maintenance apprenticeships, so we can grow the aircraft maintenance workforce. We're taking advantage of a program that the Department of Defense has put on for their members, and that mechanics working out on the base can take 6 months, in their last 6 months of active duty, and come do an apprenticeship. So we're going to take that on. We had a meeting the other day with the FAA. They are very excited about that possibility. Meeting with the Air Force folks on Thursday to make sure that we've got everything we need to be able to go forward. And eventually, where this goes in my vision is we prove the concept with these folks coming out of the military, and we start a high school program. There is no high school level aircraft maintenance apprenticeship type of program anywhere in the state that I'm aware of. If we do that, we now have a workforce that potentially we can attract somebody involved in the aircraft manufacturing business. Maybe they base it around our airport. Worst cases, they go away. But that's something we can do if we grow that workforce. There's a much more significant shortage of aircraft mechanics than there is pilots. You hear a lot of stories about the shortage of airline pilots. And pilot unions will tell you that it's a shortage of pay, not a shortage of pilots. I can tell you there's a shortage of mechanics. And then lastly, we want to increase our flight training opportunities. And more business, more people fly. So that's kind of what our vision is. I'm thankful for the support of the members of the Airport Advisory Committee and Rachel Key and your previous support. I look forward to moving forward to hopefully seeing this vision beyond 2030. That's all.
So I think what Ted's wanting to do is to lease the ground outside the, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Ted or Rich, it's outside the gate, right as you, there's the, we call it the
Terminal.
terminals right here, and then there's the gate that opens up.
Is that right where you've got the big plastic fuel tanks now? Okay.
No, it's kind of, it's actually in the back of the building where the grass is, that
Oh,
big
okay.
grass field kind of between the BLM trailer and our terminal. So it's the grass there.
So what he's wanting to do is to lease the ground so he can put his fuel tank on there. And so I told him, give us a presentation on what you think what's a fair deal for the city, so we recoup some money out of the deal, and then he can still make a profit. So that's where we're at. Councilman Bryant?
So from being your liaison last year, and I did speak with the mayor briefly about the hangar, and he is all for that, as I am. You just need a plan and a call, or how much it will cost. If you present that stuff to us along with the other stuff, I am for it 100%. What you need to.
I don't have the exact square footage of what's needed because we haven't decided yet whether we're gonna do a concrete berm or an earthen berm or containment. Concrete wall or containment. Let's see if I've got something here that will show that.
So Ted, for your tank, what were you thinking? When you and I and Rich sat there and discussed with Nina, what was your proposal on the least amount of the tank?
Well, between, we're talking, okay, $500 to $1,000 somewhere in there. Again, I just don't have that proposal for you.
That's what we were.
Because I don't know what that square footage is worth in terms of dollars. How does that compare to, is it the same as a hangar, is it the same as per square foot, or what it's long right now?
Should have made an offer of $1.
Well, I want to be fair. I understand the city is somewhat strapped for figuring out where the cash is going to come from, as we heard earlier tonight. I've been asked, why don't I ask for a raise? Well, I would like the city to spend everything it has that it can on making this airport into what it can be in 2030. So I'm willing to help. But I've made a significant, in addition to this tank, a very significant investment in this airport.
So the tank, are you paying for the
I'm
tank?
paying for the tank, I'm paying for getting it up here, I'm paying to have it installed.
Okay, that wasn't really in the packet or anything in the presentation,
Yeah.
so that was my biggest concern was who's paying for it, so.
Councilman Buddy.
Well, it seems like we have a grass area with nothing, we're not looking at using it for anything other than a grass area, correct?
Correct.
So it seemed to me that I would be in support, like Mark is saying, if you're looking at making some upgrades that will generate increased traffic spending, I think we should seriously take a look at it and go down that road. How can we help out? And I think that your point in there is to generate a little bit of revenue for the city is also a good idea. If we're benefiting your business financially, that would make sense even when at least to go from us at a fair price. So I appreciate that. But if we have land that we're not using, and we have a potential use for it, it could generate some revenue and benefit the city. I think that's a good avenue to pursue.
Councilman Bryant?
And also on the, I would want to see something on the hangar as well. That's a big generator of cash, and I know you need it. I've worked on the ramp. I'm a mechanic, and it's not fun working outside. So, yeah.
That's going to be part of the budgeting process.
So you guys will present that also with the tank? Okay.
Mayor, council, the big thing with that is before we can get funds for a hangar, we have to make sure that all of our pavements and all of our operations are up to what they need to be, which they are. The PAPI and the reel that we're working on right now pretty much put us where we need to be, and then we just have to check that because again, the runway, there might be a little bit of that runway, maybe not very much at all, maybe just a little crack sealing here and there, but that's about it. So.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you, Ted. When I first took office, it was like, okay, for the 4 people to use the airport, we need other funds. But sitting in the seat, my eyes have been open to change. And when it comes to change, it comes to when Courtney and I go out to go after businesses, recruitment of businesses, they always ask, do you have a library? Do you have a cemetery? Do you have a golf course? Do you have a pool? Do you have an airport? And when we tell them, yes, we have all that, it makes our recruiting, because what those businesses are looking for is quality of life. Do you have that for their people? And those are big recruiters. So I'm in favor. I mean, you guys, it's you guys' decision, but I think if, like you said, Councilman Buddy, if we can, hammer out a deal, is it $500, $1,000, whatever you think it is a year? Is it $1,000 a year? Is it, you know, to lease that? And then are you pouring the concrete yourself and all that? Is that what that is? Or,
Yes.
okay. I'm all for it. Councilman Shapani?
So, for me, I'm completely fine with it, but I would like to see, you know, kind of like what you're offering, you know, some negotiating back and forth on this. Also, we don't know how much of a lot you need for it. So that's the other thing, is it's hard to put a price on something we don't know how big of a size lot either. So I think if you want to go back and figure out what you want, and, you know, come up with a price, then we at least have a better idea of how much of a property we're giving up for that tank.
Mr. Mayor, Ted, I completely agree with Jimmy. In your presentation, I heard that we need more fuel, but I didn't hear you address like how you want us to get it there for you. So, in terms of what you want fuel, but I think we need a proposal on exactly how you want to get there.
I guess I'm a little confused. I want to put a tank in, and I will have trucks, in the same way we do now, deliver fuel to that tank. And then I will dispense from the tank into trucks and put it into airplanes.
And I understand that if you're leasing the ground and you're putting a tank on it, what's the long-term plan? If you leave and you pack up and give up shop, is that our tank now, or is that?
No, this tank is a business asset. It actually makes my business more valuable. When I was talking about potentially building a hangar with First Interstate Bank, they were not particularly interested until I told them I had the jet fuel savings. Then they were very interested and wanted to know how I could help. So that is a business asset, and I would expect that if I sell this business, which at some point I will, it goes with the business, because it is, as I said, this is a driver for the business. So I've got to sell that as a business.
Well, I think, really quick, sorry, Councilman Schmidt, I think what they're thinking is obviously like, you take TJ's training facility, he went out, raised all the funds, he put all that training facility, at the end of the day, if he leaves, it's still the city. I think we're.
That was my question I was going to ask Jay.
And I would say, if I could, I understand that, but that simulator building doesn't drive his business. His jet fuel tank drives my business.
Well, we would still maintain the lease. So even if there's a different owner, we would have the same agreement. We would still be generating revenue from the lease.
This year-to-year lease is what you're looking? Like your contract is year to year?
The long-term lease would be better.
Yeah, long-term would be better, but, because that's what it is with the hangars, it's a long-term lease.
So as I hear it, Councilman Shapani and Councilman Brennan want you to give a proposal. This is how many square feet you want. Is that what I'm getting at? Oh, Councilman Brian, go
I
ahead.
have one other thing. I don't know if you're getting it engineered or not, but I would want to know that the spacing of where it's located is not going to conflict where, how far it's got to be from the road, from the building, and from your other operations.
I've already talked to Brian Reed, Fire Department. 50 feet is the closest it can be, and we're well outside of that.
50 feet for such a large quantity?
I would defer to the fire department.
But those requirements are coming from engineered specs, correct? Or will come from that?
Well, we will build it to meet the specs, that's for sure.
Will it be engineered, I guess, is the question.
Yes.
Okay. And that'll be stamped. So Mike can go out there and say, okay, here's your stamped engineering specs, and you'll build the spec, and Mike is
That's
good.
required, yes. It's required for the permit to build.
Okay. Chief, do you have anything on this?
No, just looking at, that's true, and it's just like any other business where they come in, there's regulations that are commonplace throughout the industry. So it should be no different than the tanks at Sunset Sea or Hyler Brothers and things of that nature. So that's kind of predisposed stuff, but just what he's talking about and where it's going today. And I looked over this before and did a drive by there and looked at it, and I don't see any problems at all with his proposal at this point.
Council, your show, what do you guys wanna do?
I'd like to move forward. I think it's another part of our economic engine. You know, and our job is to facilitate it and, help our city grow.
Need a motion or?
What will you get a motion on? I mean, obviously,
We just want, I want him to
come back with a proposal. Okay, is that fair? Unless you wanna give it to us right now. I'm gonna give you $20,000 a year for a piece of ground.
Well, I guess I would say $500 a year for the ground is adequate to put this 12,000-gallon tank in its containment facility. Positioned, a little hard to see if we turn the lights down without my cursor here where this is going to go. I wish I could get a overhead view that's more in focus, but it's right here.
And do you have to have that line?
Yes, if it's earth and berm, yes. If it's concrete, no.
And what are you looking to do, concrete or earth and
I
berm?
want to do what costs the least, but it's also effective.
So do we have any issues with DEQ? Do they come out and inspect that, Mark, or is it just Mike McCain and you?
No, DEQ would be very involved in the tank.
They,
Go ahead.
Mayor Council, I would imagine that they would probably do the same thing. They have to come out yearly and check our, all of our generators that have diesel in them to make sure that the containment and the, we have double, like the new one's a double walled, so it doesn't have to have a berm around it. But this last year we had a couple that were singles, so we did have to put some cement areas around there so they'd be contained. So they would be concerned same way, and FAA would also. I mean, there'd be things that to do.
Well, me, the consummate taxpayer, I would love to see more money to the taxpayers, to the airport. So, but it's not my decision, it's these four guys' decision, so it's up to you four. So I'll let you guys, you four hammer it out with Ted right now.
That's fair.
Councilor Shabani.
Anytime we ever do a lease or anything like that, we usually have it in front of us or some kind of blueprint of what it's gonna be. I'm all for it. I'm not saying I'm not against it by any means, so don't take when you walk out that door, like I'm against it. I am for it. But we have nothing in writing for us to come to terms on at this point. So.
Nina?
The reason you don't have anything in writing is because we needed to know if you wanted to do it first before we had Jay start working on a lease agreement. So if you're wanting to do it, we can have Jay start working with.
We'll start working it.
And we'll bring you a lease agreement for the next meeting. But we didn't want to do that if you guys said, no, absolutely not, we're not going to do this.
Do you want to do a motion to go ahead with the plan, have them bring you back paperwork of a lease agreement or proposal?
Yeah.
We get a councilman to do that? Mr. Mayor. Councilman Bundy.
I'd like to make a motion that we proceed forward and develop a contract with, between the city and Thompson Aviation, did I get that right? Thompson Aviation dealing with the lease of land for the use of a 12,000 gallon fuel tank.
Second.
Been motion and second, I'll call for the question. Councilor Bryant.
Aye.
Councilor Shabani.
Aye.
Councilor Brennan. Councilman Bundy.
Aye.
All right. Thanks, Ted.
Mr. Mayor, it's just a little, to kind of start putting the lease together. Is $500 reasonable for you guys to, I mean, what are some numbers? I mean, we need to put something together, so.
Good. 15.
Could've got away with $1 tonight. Missed out on that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Bring it back with some numbers. Okay. There you go.
A what?
$100 a month.
So we got,
One is 500, that's Ted. Councilor Brendan's at 1,200.
okay.
Yeah. 100 a month. Any other councilman?
I'm kind of good with the 1,200.
Councilman, do you have anything for Rich to bring back to you?
Those are fine. We'll take a look at that.
We'll sit down and, I'll sit down with Ted, we'll figure out what the
Mr. Mayor,
best we
just
can
one
do.
thing, if 500 or 1,200 or whatever it is too much, if you guys can show that what your bottom line is, what you can actually afford to pay, that would help out a lot. It may not be that 1,200 is doable to start.
I think he just want some marching orders just to kind of do what we need to do. So,
Sounds good.
thank you.
All righty, thanks, Ted.
Thank you.
Thanks, Airport Board as well. Thank you guys for coming out. Item number 8, ordinances. Ordinance amending 9-7-8 concerning the maximum building height in certain zone districts. Action item.
Somebody has one in the door.
There you go. Councilman Brennan. Councilman Buddy.
Make a motion that we suspend the rules and read this ordinance by title only for all 3 readings with first reading tonight.
The motion is second. I'll call for the question. Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilman Spaney.
Aye.
Councilman Bryant.
Aye.
Councilman Buddy. Aye. Nina, please read the ordinance.
An ordinance of the City of Mountain Home, Idaho, amending section 978, chapter 7, title 9 of the City Code of Mountain Home, Idaho by increasing the maximum building height in C2, C3, and C4 commercial zoning districts from 35 feet to 45 feet, increasing the maximum building height in industrial I1 and I2 zoning districts from 35 feet to 60 feet, adding the notation that FAA regulations may reduce the maximum building height allowed and providing an effective date.
Councilman, you've read the ordinance. Do you wish it to pass? Councilman Bryant.
Aye.
Councilman Bundy.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilman Spaney.
Aye. We just want to keep hearing it over.
All right.
Is that, well, do we want to?
Do you want to do all
Do you
3?
want to do all 3? I was assuming you were doing one.
I thought we were doing all 3.
I thought, yeah, it would be, I mean, it's not, if we could do all 3 tonight,
Second motion now to go
so
with
just
all 3.
to,
Let
me amend it.
yes, it is. Oh, it's not. But you can.
It was on the agenda at all, period, other than just.
Yeah, you can
concerning-
suspend the rules for all 3. You can suspend for the next 2.
What's the rush? Is there-
Oh, you all right?
Yeah, we,
So we can let this.
so we can get things out to bid.
I didn't know I wanted it all 3. Go for it.
Make a motion that we suspend the rules and to read this ordinance by title only for all 3 readings with all 3 readings tonight.
Second.
The motion is second. I'll go over the question. Councilman Bryant.
Aye.
Councilman Spaney.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan. Councilman Buddy. Aye. Nina, please read the ordinance.
It's not really important, you can't amend the agenda except at the beginning of the meeting for a special reason. The agenda specifies which readings you're going to have. You didn't ask that the agenda be amended at the beginning of the meeting. So I'll just wait till the
Okay.
All right.
That's fine. I mean, that's fine. I didn't know where we were. I thought we were good.
We'll blame that one on Nina this time.
We won't,
Second one is there.
we won't blame it on her. So.
I don't love I give you a hard time.
I know.
Okay. We'll hold off. Ordinance amending 6 days. Oh, sorry.
Mr.
Councilman Bryant.
Mayor, I have a comment or a question on that ordinance.
The one that we're going into now, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll go into that.
Okay, do I need to get Councilman Shorter on the phone?
Yeah, he
Mm,
said-
We can,
But
this,
normally can.
well, no, this part of it we can do later. It's just that in it, and we spoke about this the last time we were working on the animal ordinance, mini pigs, we didn't require before, and that's separate from the actual violation part of this. We didn't require anything for registration or anything for mini pigs. Mini pigs are as big as dogs. And we did have a mini pig out and about that the animal control had to go and get. They are also not required to have any vaccinations, that when they do get out, you don't know that who they're registered to or any of that. And what I'd like, and I know, Daniel, you were working on these ordinances with Jeff, and I'd like to see us look at the mini pigs. I did speak to animal control, and I told them I'd speak with you also. They didn't have that answer. They can go and get it, and we can change the ordinance later. We don't have to do it tonight. But I think we do need to change the ordinance and reflect that many pigs need to be treated as we treat dogs. Just as a dog is a house pet, so is a mini pig. It's like the one that got out. It ended up in my yard with no registration.
Barbecue pig?
Yeah. So I would want people to register, and I would want to know that they're healthy if it's required. They said they're not sure if that's required or not, but they'll check it out.
It's no different than my dog gets out without his
Well, I
tag
want
on.
your dog. I won't eat your dog, Jimmy. What page?
Music are listed on here. I don't know where else they're talking about it. It must be a different ordinance. It's not in this one. But they're on.
I'm looking for the 6-17 ordinance. Is that in that one?
Yeah, it's the same.
Okay. So did you wanna,
But we can can move forward. and
We can
this
move forward.
You're right.
This part is
You're
fine.
fine with that one?
This part
Okay.
is fine, I just wanna address that.
Okay.
Issue.
Okay.
They're too small, really.
Okay. Councilman Brennan.
I guess just for the record, since the last meeting, I was the one that stalled this. We did have a chance to have a conversation with the city prosecutor, Jeff Schroeder, and he clarified that there is no conflict because they each specify within this section, and it's two different sections.
Noted. Thank you. So this one, so any other comments, questions, concerns before I ask them to read the ordinance? All right. Ordinance amending 6-6-17, making the first, second violations of the section infraction, first, second, and third reading by title only. Action item U. Councilman Shapani.
I make a motion that we suspend the rules and read the ordinance by title only with all three readings tonight.
Second.
To a motion, a second, I'll call for the question. Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilman Bundy.
Aye.
Councilman Shapani.
Aye.
Councilman Bryant.
Aye.
And please read the ordinance.
An ordinance of the city of Mount Home, Idaho, amending section 17, chapter 6, title 6, Mount Home City Code, providing first and second violations of that section are infractions and providing an effective date.
Councilman, you read this for its first reading. Do you wish it to pass? Councilman Bundy.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilman Shapani.
Aye.
Councilman Bryant.
Aye.
An ordinance of the city of Mount Home, Idaho, amending section 17, chapter 6, title 6, Mount Home City Code, providing first and second violations of that section are infractions, providing an effective date.
Councilman, you've heard and read this, or she's been read for the second time. Do you wish it to pass? Councilman Bryant.
Aye.
Councilman Shapani.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan. Councilman Bundy.
Aye.
An ordinance of the city of Mount Home, Idaho, amending section 17, chapter 6, title 6, Mount Home City Code, providing first and second violations of that section are infractions and providing an effective date.
Councilman, you've heard this read for its third and final time. Do you wish it to pass? Councilman Brennan. Councilman Shapani.
Aye.
Councilman Bryant. Councilman Bundy.
Aye.
All right. All righty. Councilman, do you want to go first?
Sure.
All right, Councilman Bryant, or Bundy. Wow, I've been on one night.
First off, Saturday morning I had the pleasure of being invited to go watch a 8-year-old basketball game at West Elementary. Tiffany, you guys are running a great program. Thank you very much. And while I was watching the young 9-year-olds play basketball, it made me reminisce back to the basketball team of the year 2000-2001. I don't know if you guys remember, but they took third in state that year. And they got inducted into the High School Hall of Fame on Saturday. And we do have one of those team members in our audience tonight. Tiffany, would you like to?
Speech. I'm in the front page.
But since I gave Tiffany top billing, if my daughter's watching on here, she was on the team also. I just wanted to let you know that the basketball I listened to parents. Nobody was just having fun, so it was really well run. And you're got a couple of high school kids out there with the Saturday job, so you're doing a good job over there, and we appreciate what you do. Thank you very much. And Chris, I appreciate your comments and that you were through here for the whole meeting on the hub. That's being funded through the urban renewal, so that,
Maintenance of it is too.
what's that?
The maintenance and repairs and the operation is too.
That will be a long-term thing that we're gonna move to the city, but the construction cost will be urban renewal, and then it will move to the city.
Don't forget the girls going to state now.
Oh, darn it. Yes, thank you very much. I was gonna let that go all the way around the circle. Yes, the Mount Home High School girls are going to state. They play Thursday at 1:30 at Timberline. They won an nail biter at the high school the other night on a last-second shot by Adri Blanksma. And she's kind of a big deal at the high school right now. It's a fun time at the high school right now. So it's all kinds of good things happening in the community. Thanks for reminding me.
Send off, Chief Morright, Thursday.
Yes, absolutely.
So we invite everyone to come out and well wish the girls a safe trip to Boise or Timberline, right? Yep. So if you can make it, we definitely want you there. Thursday, I don't have my phone on me. You have the What time are we sending them off? 11?
I believe it's 11 o'clock that we're gonna be over at the school to send them off.
So I'd love to have all the councilmen there if you can make it. You'll be there.
I'll have to abandon my other class, but I'll see if I can take my students down to wish them well. In fact, that's a great idea.
Chief, maybe get some cops there. I know the fire department will all be there, and maybe grab some people from the city just to show them that we're truly excited and proud of them. Councilman, you got anything else?
Cool, the other side of the pillow.
Cool as the other side of the pillow. Council Brian, got anything?
No, sir.
Council Brendan? Alrighty, really quick comprehensive plan, save the date. So we're in the process of updating our comprehensive plan. The community input is very, very important to this comprehensive plan. It helps guide the decisions for the next 10 years. A survey will be released on the City of Mountain Home website February 25th, so put that in your calendar. And it'll be open through the month of March. And this is where the citizens, this is where the rubber meets the road. You guys get to decide for the next 10 years how you want the city governed and where it goes. We'll post updates and information as the plan moves forward on the website as well. This is your opportunity to give your input in the direction of Mountain Home as it takes it, as we take moving it forward. Exciting times right now for the city of Mountain Home. We've kind of been allotted a second round opportunity. We're super excited for grants. Right now, we made it to the second round of the Land and Water Conservation Grant for the skate park. So March 19th, I go and present to the Land and Water Conservation Board about that. I'm really excited because we're at that next step, and we usually don't get to that next step, so I'm really excited. The CDBG grant, we're to the next step on that one, and Courtney could probably allude or talk to you about that one. And then Courtney's also applied for another grant through the Health Coalition, right? So really quick on the CDBG and the Health Coalition, I'll let you take the lead on that one.
Mayor, Council, the CDBG grant is for the downtown. That's the $500,000 grant that we told you we were going to apply for. We did make it to the second round, so we're going to be presenting to their board. We don't have a date yet, but we anticipate in April. So we're very excited for that. The other grant, we have started an Elmore County Health Coalition. The county commissioners, police, sheriff, just all the different providers from the hospital and other organizations throughout the community have come together to help with some of the health issues that have been highlighted by St. Luke's and Central District Health. Alexis Pickering has been instrumental in getting that program up and running. And one of the things that we did was apply for a grant through the Idaho Women's Charitable Foundation for $60,000 to put a playground in at Hacker Middle School. As you all probably know, right now it's just an empty field. There's a couple of basketball hoops, a couple of soccer goals, but aside from that, there's no playground equipment out there at all. And so what we're putting in for is, it's called a fitness playground. It almost looks like a Ninja Warrior course. So we're really excited about that. The site visit for that is tomorrow, so keep your fingers crossed. In conjunction with that, we've already been approved for a $25,000 grant from the playground company. So we have the funding all squared away. We just need that $60,000 grant to come through. So a lot of good things happening.
A lot of exciting things happening in Mountain Home. We're just excited, when you start this process, and I joke that you like to stick a dynamite clear down here with the long fuse, and Courtney and I, you do so much work, especially with the industrial park. It seems like we take one step forward, we get kicked in the gut, and we're back to square one. And so it seems like the fuse is at the very end. We have this much left. Courtney and I, our plots, we're always worried that someone's going to put it out. So kind of a funny, different analogy, but we're hoping that these grants and the future of Mountain Home is a lot brighter. Really quick, if you want to go to the Black History Banquet, February 15th, it's social hours, or actually it starts at 6:30, dinner's at 7:15. And the cool thing is we have the Command Chief, Wendell Snyder from the Air Force 366 Fighter Wing Squadron going to be doing it. He'll be the guest speaker. If you haven't met him, he's amazing. So get out there, and it'll be a good time. Always a good time. Let's see here. Oh. Volunteerism is one of the most powerful things that a citizen can do in Mountain Home. It's one of the most important things in Mountain Home. I want to apologize to Mr. James Green. He is the new library trustee from last week or 2 weeks ago. And we want you guys to do your civic duty. And when there is an opening, volunteer, offer your time. We definitely want you guys to do something like that. So with that, I'm going to put my sincere apologies from the city out there. I wrote something up, but I'm going to leave it alone. But I just want Mr. Green to know that I appreciate his service to the city of Mountain Home, and moving forward, that please, we definitely want volunteers. We definitely want people to come out in droves and volunteer for your community. Without the volunteers in this city, there's nothing that happens, nothing. And that goes to the ECHO, you know, all the committees that work really hard for this airport board committee, Parks and Rec committee, travel and tourism, the travel or the visitor center, all volunteers. I mean, those are the things that's the glue that holds the city together. Lions Club, Rotary. So please don't be afraid to come out and volunteer and put yourself out there. You're moving forward. Do we have anything on Facebook Live, Mike? Any questions?
No, Mayor. No questions.
All righty, then we'll go into item number 10 or number 9, executive session.
Do I get to defend myself on that?
I asked you if you wanted to speak.
Yeah, since you opened the can, now I would.
No. We're going to run into item number 8.
Hold on, you're not gonna let a councilman speak?
I offered you the time to speak, did I not?
Yeah, well, I wanna talk now.
Let's do it.
Okay. It doesn't need to come to this, but it does. And I too, with the mayor, appreciate volunteerism in this city more than anyone else. In fact, you know, I wasn't born and raised here. I came here originally in 2004 as an 18-year-old. So my actions in the last meeting were not to have a negative effect against James. I am grateful for his community service. What I am not okay with is the process in which it is occurring. When the mayor says he is having transparent government, it is anything but transparent. Because you expect us to vote on somebody that we've never had a chance to meet, nor talk to, or do anything. You bring it to us and you say, vote them in because it's my power to do so. While I respect your authority to bring us a person, I would like it if you gave us an opportunity to interview with those people. So for that reason, I took the actions that I did and voted against him because I know that you have a personal vendetta against William Lamb as the library director.
Absolutely not.
You absolutely do, and you've made it perfectly clear. So the reasons why that you chose the person that you did in my mind is because, one, you want to be able to control the board of trustees at the library, who will then in turn control the library director. So I want nothing to do with that, and I want it to be a clear and actually transparent system in the way we work. So if you have a problem with the director, this is not the way to accomplish it.
You finished?
Go ahead.
All right. So guys, it's been an amazing ride for me as your mayor for the last 3 years. In these past years, I've had the pleasure of working with numerous councilmen. Although we, the council and myself, may not always agree on what's best for the city and its issues, we've always had and maintained a mutual respect for the people that elect us to this great city and each other. Last city council meeting, I was taken back by the sheer audacity to interrogate and belittle a library trustee nomination by a member of the city council. I was deeply embarrassed, jaw-dropped, and deeply saddened, to say the least. Mr. Green wants to volunteer his time and effort because he wants to provide a positive difference in our city. What does that tell anybody else who might want to volunteer their personal time? Yes, come to the city council meeting so we can belittle you and embarrass you for wanting to volunteer your personal time. I've always stated that there is nothing more important or as powerful to the city as a volunteer. Without them, nothing would ever get accomplished. Visitor Center, volunteers, Chamber of Commerce, all subcommittees, AFAT, Fall Harvest, Festival of Beer, Giving Tree, Shop with the Cop, Dops Rodeo, Lions Club, ice cream for the kids, 1st and 3rd grade, Movies in the Park, Rotary Club, ECHO, Parks and Rec Committee, Traffic Safety Committee, Airport Committee, URA, Library Trustees, Airport or Arts Council, Historic Committee, and all the wonderful churches that are all volunteers. For the sheer sake of time, I'm sorry if I've left anybody out. And you guys are all super valuable to the community. I want to be crystal clear when I say this. You do not have to be a resident to the city longer than 30 days, a registered voter, affiliated with any political party to be on volunteer. All that we require is your willingness to get involved. I'm here to say as your mayor, on behalf of the city and the rest of the city council, we're sorry for the actions of another. Please accept our deepest apologies, Mr. Green. Congratulations to our newest library trustee. To all the volunteers, the rest of the council, I truly appreciate your love for the city and your willingness to give back. Please do your civic duty when called upon, and please jump in and give your time whenever you're available. Thank you. God bless the City of Mountain Home, and God bless our volunteers. With that, we will run into item number 9, the executive session.
Yes, Mayor.
Councilman Shapani.
I move that we go into executive session pursuant to Idaho Code Section 74-2061F to communicate with legal counsel for the public agency to discuss the legal ramifications of and legal options for pending litigation or controversies not yet being litigated but imminently likely to be litigated.
Second.
Motion to second to go into executive session. Call for the question. Councilman Bundy.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilman Shapani.
Aye.
Councilman Wright.
Aye.
All right, executive session.